Right, good evening and welcome to our Neolife Health webinar. Congratulations for making the time to tune in and to find out about improving your health. Hi, my name is Patrick Mather-Pike and I'm from Port Elizabeth. And for almost 30 years, my wife and I have been involved in the health and wellness industry as Neolife distributors. It's our dream to make a positive difference in the lives of people by sharing what the latest science is telling us and empowering them to take control of their health. And I'm just curious tonight, how many of you would like to live to be a ripe old age and be fit and healthy all the time? How many would like to die healthy? Well, I'm sure we all would. And that's what we want to share with you tonight. Strategies that will help you achieve that. And I hope that's okay if I'm going to share with you. If we look at what's killing us today, it's pretty interesting. Chronic diseases are killing more and more people. In fact, the World Health Organization estimated that in 2005, 35 million people worldwide died from chronic diseases. That's over 60% of all the deaths were due to chronic diseases. That was 2005. The latest figures are even worse. Currently, the death toll from chronic diseases is 3 times the number of deaths of all infectious diseases, which includes HIV and AIDS, TB, malaria, etc. The latest estimates that I've seen show that approximately 75% of all deaths in developed countries are due to chronic diseases. Now, if we look back at what killed us 100 plus years ago, and these figures are from the US of A, but they're the same for the rest of the world, you'll see that infectious diseases, this green area in the pie chart here, killed over 53% of people, whereas in 2010, they accounted for only 3% of the deaths. Chronic diseases in 1900 was only 20-odd%. Now it's over 70%. And what is interesting is that in 1900, coroners did not report any deaths from diabetes or related complications, and Alzheimer's wasn't even classified as a disease. Yet today, 8% of people are dying from those things. So you can see the alarming increase in chronic diseases. If we look at what they are saying, if we look at heart disease, for instance, the World Health Organization estimates that 1 out of every 3 deaths worldwide is due to heart disease. In South Africa, 1 out of every 2 males will suffer from heart disease. 1 out of every 3 will die from it. That's not funny. And ladies, before you start laughing, you're catching up very fast. If we look at cancer, World Health Organization estimated 20 million people had cancer in 2005. And they expect that to increase by 50% in 2020, just 3 years' time. That means over 30 million people will have cancer worldwide. 1 out of every 6 people in the States gets cancer, and in South Africa, over 100 people die of cancer every single day. When we get to look at diabetes, the figures are absolutely frightening. The World Health Organization says it's a global epidemic with over 170 million diabetics in 2005, and they expect that to increase to over 360 million in 2030. What concerns me is that diabetes used to be an old people's disease, but it's becoming something that we see children with today. They're getting them at a younger and younger age, and that's not good. We in South Africa are among the most unhealthy in the world. We always think of the Americans being the fattest and the unhealthiest, but we are not far off. If we look at the latest statistics that we have, which come from the National Health and Nutritional Examination Survey in 2012, this is what they said. It's clear that South Africa is heading for a disaster, judging by the high percentage of people living with chronic diseases of lifestyle. That's the important word, lifestyle, in the country, with overweight and obesity being strong risk factors. Now, when we look at the fact that over 60% of our women in this country are overweight and over 40% of them are obese, that's really a big problem, because fat people end up often having fat children. So we're just perpetuating the problems. Chronic diseases are lifestyle related, and this is the point. They are the result of choices we make every single day, like diet, eating a poor one, lack of exercise, addictions like smoking, alcohol, etc. They're the result of years and years and years of bad habits. Other things that influence them are environmental factors like pollution, stress, etc. And the effect of these can be minimized by lifestyle choices. If we look at what we can do to prevent them, there are things, it's not all bad news. The World Health Organization says for heart disease, we need to eat more omega-3 rich foods, in other words, fatty fishes. We need to eat more fruit, veg, nuts, and whole grains. We need to maintain a good, healthy body weight. American Heart Association, basically the same thing. And all the health organizations around the world say pretty much the same thing. If we look at cancer, World Health Organization says eat more fruit and veg. If you smoke, quit. Now that's good advice. CDC, Centers for Disease Control, eat more fruit and veg. National Cancer Institute, eat more fruit and veg, especially those rich in carotenoids. Now I could show you the same thing for diabetes. It would just get boring, but I think you're getting the message. Diet plays a major role in preventing chronic diseases. And they are lifestyle choices. Most people are digging their graves with their knives and forks. And that's not funny, actually. All right, let's ask you a question. How many of you own a nice car? Would you knowingly put contaminated fuels and oils in your car? Of course you wouldn't. Why not? Because you'd damage the engine. So how come you put any kind of junk in your mouth when you wouldn't dream of treating your car that way? How come we spend so much money maintaining our cars, but we don't do that for our bodies? You know, we put junk in day on, day out, and then we get surprised when we get sick. And then when we do get sick, we haul off to the doctor and we expect him to give us a pill that's going to cure what we've taken 30 to 40 years to mess up. It doesn't work that way, folks. Our bodies are priceless gifts, and it's our responsibility to take care of them. So what do we do? Well, before we get there, let's have a look at the other major risk factor, and that is exercise, lack of exercise. And there's some amazing studies. This one comes from the nurses study, which is the largest, longest ongoing study in the world. And they found out that women who go from no exercise at all to just 1 hour a week cut their risk of heart disease by 50%. You don't have to go to the gym every night. You just go for a brisk walk twice a week for 30 minutes. You can cut the risk of heart disease by 50%. That's incredible. Another study showed that regular physical activity cuts the risk of breast, colon, and endometrial cancers, some of the most deadly cancers around, by 25 to 30%. And here's one that really shocked me. This study said that low fitness is a stronger indicator of death than high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, and even smoking. That's incredible, isn't it? So I think the message there is clear. We need to get off our butts and start doing some exercise. So if we look at what the World Health Organizations recommend, if we look at fruit and veg, they're saying that we need to eat 9 to 14 servings of colorful fruit and veg every day. In other words, potatoes, bananas, and apples don't count. Okay. They say we need to eat oily fish. So not hake, but something like salmon or tuna or sardines, 2 to 3 times a week. And they say that we need to eat whole grains instead of refined grains. Now, my question is, How many of us actually do this? We certainly don't. I definitely haven't eaten 9 to 14 servings of colorful fruit and veg today, and we actually eat incredibly healthy. The other thing is it actually possible? Let's have a look. If we look at fruit and veg, well, the soils are depleted of nutrients due to overfarming and artificial fertilizers and pesticides. So we're not getting the nutrient density out of the food today that we should be getting. Secondly, we all live in cities today, so all our fruit and veg is picked green so that it doesn't rot on the way to the supermarket, so that we can still buy it and eat it. So the vitamin content is not optimum at all. Science is telling us that unless you pick it and eat it the same day, the vitamins decline dramatically. Well, if you think about our apples today, they can be 18 months old by the time you buy them. So you can guess how many vitamins are left in them. And the other problem is that our fruit and veg are sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, etc., that don't wash off all that easily. So we're not getting the nutrients that we should do, and we're getting a whole lot of toxins in that we shouldn't be getting. And besides which, it's very hard to get a good variety of colorful fruit and veg all the time because of the different seasons. If we look at fish, they're not always available. Okay. They're expensive, and there's a high risk of pollutants like lead and mercury, etc., in fish today because our seas, our oceans are polluted. And if we do get stuff like salmon or trout or whatever, it's generally farmed and they're fed with antibiotics and growth hormones. So again, we're getting pollutants in instead of good nutrients in. If we look at whole grains, well, it's actually not possible to get whole grain unless you buy the wheat yourself, buy organic wheat, mill it yourself, and bake your own bread. Simply because all the millers will remove the oils, the essential oils from the grain, like wheat germ oil, because they go rancid, and so there's no shelf life. So it doesn't matter what kind of wheat product you buy, there will be no wheat germ oil in it. In South Africa, we have another problem. 80% of the maize in this country is genetically modified. We are the only country in the world that has legalized genetically modified maize for human consumption. The rest of the world feed it to the animals, and then they feed the animals to the people. We just cut out the animals and eat it direct. Good for our people. Makes you wonder about our authorities. But there is some good news. Neolife has a solution. So in addition to eating as healthily as we possibly can and exercising, we can do some other things. Neolife is an amazing company with the motto of making the world a healthier and happier place. They've been around since 1958. They're the world leaders in organic whole food supplements. They've got over 30 world firsts in product development. They're recognized by scientific and research organizations all over the world as being leaders in the field. And they have a world-renowned and respected scientific advisory board, a global science network, and a health professional council overseeing the development of our products, which means we have good products. Going too fast there. If we look at our scientific advisory board, it's made up of world-leading scientists who develop, research, and develop our products. And when you've got world-leading scientists who are putting their reputations at stake by putting their names behind the product, then you can be certain that you have products that work. That's why we have over 30 world firsts in product development. We also have a health professionals council, which is totally unique. Each one of the people you see on this slide are practicing doctors, scientists, etc. What often happens is you have scientists sitting in a laboratory somewhere, coming up with wonderful theories, but they actually have no clue of what's going on in the marketplace. So we take guys who are out there in the marketplace, who know what's going on every day, who know what the problems people are facing, and they liaise with the scientists on the scientific advisory board, and together they come up with solutions. So let's have a look. Neolife offers us the solution. We have a couple of products that will absolutely change your life. And let's have a look. Formula 4 Plus with Tre-en-en is derived from whole grains. Remember all the World Health Organization saying we need to eat whole grains instead of refined grains? We have a product called carotenoid complex derived from fruit and vegetables. And we have omega-3 salmon oil plus, the world's first and only complete omega salmon oil product available. Let's have a look at them. They are unique, they're world first, and they are products that will totally transform your health and your life. If we look at Formula 4 Plus, it's a multivitamin, multi-mineral. It contains all the vitamins and minerals from natural, whole food-based sources, so there's no funny stuff in them. Okay, but it's much, much more than just a multivitamin and a multi-mineral. It contains something called Tre-en-en, which no other product in the world contains. Tre-en-en simply means 3 in 1, and they are 3 essential fatty oils that come from grains. And as I've already said, they're totally eliminated from our diet. These oils are clinically proven to increase cellular functioning, resulting in a better use of available nutrients. In other words, whatever you use, whether it be food or supplements, is going to be better utilized when you use Tre-en-en in Formula 4 Plus. It's proved to increase cardiovascular development, increase energy levels, and improve response to stress. And if you look at the little graphs, if we look at our improved nutrient efficiency, with Tre-en-en, we're getting almost double the nutrient efficiency than we are without. Same thing with cardiovascular development. The improvement is dramatic. Okay. Basically, what happens is everything in our body starts in the cells. And our cells have a skin around them, a membrane around them, which controls what gets in and what gets out. Now, those 3 essential oils in Tre-en-en are the controllers of the permeability and flexibility of that nutrient membrane. So what happens is because we don't get them in our diets, that membrane becomes harder and harder and more impermeable as we get older. So the nutrients can't get in, and equally important, the bad stuff can't get out. The minute you start taking Tre-en-en, you start reversing that process, and so we're getting the good stuff in and the bad stuff out. And the first thing that will happen is you'll feel a whole lot more energy. If we look at carotenoid complex, it's the world's first and only complete full-spectrum carotenoid complex available. Carotenoids, which are the bright red colors, the reds, the yellows, the oranges, and the greens in fruit and veg, are super antioxidants, and they protect our cells. We'll have a look at what happened. The USDA, the US Department of Agriculture, did some studies on this product. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But this product is so concentrated that 1 bottle of 90 capsules contains the equivalent of 115 kilograms of raw fruit and veg. That's how concentrated it is. If we look at what the studies show, they show that it's bioavailable. In other words, when you take the product, the nutrients get into your cells where they start to benefit you. This is very, very important because when you swallow something, it's not in you. It's only in you when it's got out of your digestive tract, into your bloodstream, and into the cells. Only then can it start to benefit you. It boosts the immune system by 37% in just 20 days. That is phenomenal. It increases oxidative damage to cells by 44%. Okay. One of the major things in chronic disease is long-term inflammation. So if you can start cutting down the damage to cells, you cut down the inflammation in your body, It's going to keep you healthier for longer. It increases natural killer cells by 20% in 20 days, protects against heart disease, protects against macular degeneration. There's no other product in the world to compare with it. If we look at Omega Salmon Oil Plus, again, it's a world first, the only complete omega-3 supplement available in the world today. Every other omega supplement that you buy is incomplete. Most of them, 90% plus, will contain only 2 factors of omega-3, whereas in fact there are 8. And this is the only 8-factor supplement available today. It's clinically proven to be bioavailable. Okay, all our products are bioavailable. They've all had bioavailability studies done on them. It's clinically proven to reduce triglycerides, the bad fats, by 17%, improve the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio by 43%. I mentioned that we have chronic inflammation, which leads to chronic disease. A major factor in that is the fact that our omega-6 ratios got out of control because of the way we've treated our food. It should be 1 to 1. It's now 1 to 17, 1 to 20. Okay. It lowers inflammatory index by 68%. That is huge, folks, and very, very important to our overall health. And the exciting thing is you can buy those products individually, or you can buy them in Pro Vitality Pack. You'll get 30 little sachets, and in the sachet is one of each of the products. 1 Tre-en-en, 1 Salmon Oil Plus, 1 multivitamin, 1 carotenoid complex, giving you all the nutrients that the World Health Authorities are saying we need to get in. So, what are your options tonight? Well, you can speak to the person who asked you to watch this webinar and get the product from them. You'll reduce your risk of chronic disease, improve your health, and feel a whole lot better. Secondly, if you want to be more proactive, you can join Neolife Club. It's free. You'll be able to buy the products directly online at a discount, and you can share them with others and help us cut the risk of chronic disease and the trend of chronic disease around the world. Or you could take advantage of the incredible financial opportunity that goes with these products. Speak to the person who invited you to watch, to find out more. Now, I've really enjoyed chatting to you tonight. I thank you for listening. Please don't hesitate to get back to the person who invited you to watch and ask questions. And what I really want to suggest is, please do make a commitment tonight to start taking care of your health. You only get one life. You might as well make it as wonderful and as healthy as you can. So good night. God bless.